Alright, how's it going, YouTube? So we back with the recap over the weekend race. Want to give a shout out to RNS, also Dirty Den. Shout out to the whole Dirty Den. Also want to shout out Tim from Dirty Den. He gave me an RS4 Pro. We'll get to that later on in the video. Also want to shout out the 1 on 8, Jay's RC Shop, and the whole team from RC Fun. It was a great weekend. Had a great time. Thanks to everybody who came out. Appreciate that. So, if y'all seen the video, y'all know I ran a new PB. I want to give a shout out to Brandon Murray. So in my last recap video, he watched the video and just told me to lower my ESC. I've been hearing that a lot, but something just told me, since I've tried everything else, maybe I should just try that, and I did, and it helped. I also took off weight, as I said in the beginning of the race. I did a few things, a few changes, and it helped. Also, one being the setting with the timing. Normally I run 45 degrees in total timing because that's pretty much all the cheat gives you, but right now I have 50 total degrees of timing coming out this ESC. So that will be in the next video to come, and I'll explain that. But let me get through the recap and show you guys how the car ran, and we'll go from there. All right, y'all, we back. We got the tickets on the table. So first off, I want to say that when I'm at the race, at this particular race, I don't test as much as I should. Simple fact is, it is my race, so I'm paying more attention to what's going on and everything that's around, you know, making sure everything's ran right. So when I get to test, I'm basically just testing just to make sure the car goes down. I'm not even looking for the fastest numbers. I know the car will perform, and we also run dry tires, so it is the best 2 out of 3. At the end of the day, we do a prep race, but I'll also get to that. So I got the car to go down. After that, we drew chips, which I was happy with the car going down. That's all I was worried about. I could have turned, it's best 2 out of 3, as I said, so I could turn up in the second run if I lose the first one. I just need to know the car is going down, and I'll work on it from there. So in the first race, I ran. So the tickets is a little messed up. My wife kept all the tickets for me. I appreciate that. But so for the first run, I ran a 218. That was the first race. Then best 2 out of 3. I ran a 220, which pushed me into the second race. So the car was consistent, which was a good thing. So now, if you notice, it went down. I changed nothing in this run, but it went down 2 temps because battery voltage dropped from it being charged fully to it going through that second run and a burnout and then another burnout. It drops the battery. So at 220, car was consistent. I was happy with that. We moved on to the second run, and this was a 217 at 74. So what happened, what I didn't want to change nothing else, so what I decided to do was give the car more curve. I'm still learning the remote as well, so I don't know everything, so I'm learning as well. So that's just how it is. So I decided to give it more curve in the remote, not touching the ESC. Remember, as I know I'm gonna keep saying it, but it's best 2 out of 3. So the second run, I want to back this 217 up. And I already seen from the first race, me not touching nothing is not helping. So I need to increase something to help. So I increase curve and I run a 215. So with this 215, I actually just left the curve the same and left everything the same. I was happy with that. So I fully charged up, got ready for my third race because I won both races, pushed me into the next round. So my third race, first pass, I ran a 214. The mile per hour beam was on. The day before, I messed with the wire on that side, and I don't know what I did. So the mile per hour beam wasn't working. I gotta get that fixed. But it moved me on to the next one, I didn't touch anything, and the car went on 222. But in that race, Matt came over in the right lane, and I don't know if I let off or not, so I'm not sure if this was a complete full pass. Or he did red light. That's why I did. It was just a tricky round right there. So I still left the car the same. Now I'm going into the fourth round with this car, and my first pass was a 221. Now I didn't catch it at the time, but the track started to cool down tremendously. So there was spinning involved. There's no more full grip to where I'm running 2-1s now with the same tune, same battery charge. I'm running a 220 at 72. So I'm like, maybe the ground's cooling down. As y'all see over here, I'm getting 74. I ran a 215 at 72. So this must be all grip, I'm thinking. So I move over here. I noticed the car slip a little bit. I ran a 221 the first one. Sorry about that. Then the second one I ran a 220. So I was kind of off on the car setup. I wasn't catching that. It was slipping. Like I just needed to turn down a bit. Maybe it would have performed better. But I just kept the car the same, and it got me through. So I went to the semis now. Now in the semis, I had picked myself, but me and Carlos ended up trading, and I ran Steve and Carlos, which was, I would say, a dumb move for me because first of all, if I picked myself, what I had to do now was eliminate one of my cars, and I basically would have went right into the finals. Instead, I chose to race and to get into the finals. So I had to race both of my cars. I raced the Castle car against Carlos, and I raced this car against Steve. Now I could see from the video it was dramatic changes from both cars. So off the rip, I ran a 230. Car was struggling to get down. It was fishing all over the place, and I'm guessing because the tire was breaking loose, track was cooling down. So what I did was I backed it down, and the car went better and went to 227. It wasn't nothing like I was running. Temps changed, everything changed, so it played a big part. But it still got me into the finals. Now, with this car, I ran Carlos in the finals. So this was my first pass. I ran a 226. Carlos, I believe, ran a 220 out the door. So I knew right there he adjusted. He probably was ready for the temp change. I wasn't. Mind you, I'm using air, so I'm not using warmers. That's when I should have switched to foams and warmers to compensate, but I didn't. The car was running how it was running. I didn't want to change anything, and that'd be my problem during the race. I don't normally change anything. So the next run, which is this ticket, Carlos ran a 221. I ran a 229. So I still didn't change nothing. I ran that same pass I ran with the 226. Since it fought to get down, I didn't want to change nothing, and I ran a 229. Gave Carlos the win. But before this race, we did split the pot. I consider Carlos as like my teammate, so we split the pot down the middle. And we still raced to see who would have won it. And obviously, Carlos would have took it. So congrats to Carlos for taking that win. Well deserved. He's been working at it. He was just a newbie last year, came to the race with a stock car. And look at this now. So congrats to Carlos. Well deserved. Keep it pushing, brother. All right, so now I'm going to jump into the prep race. I'm sorry, this will be a long video, so hopefully everybody stays in and keep watching. So I'm going to move on to the prep race with this car, and then we'll get to the Castle car. All right, so now we moved on to a prep race. So I don't really change nothing on my car. All I do is change the tune in the remote. So since we're using prep now, if I'm running 2-1, I figure with prep, I should be able to just turn up on my point and launch harder and get a better time. So I did no testing on prep. I just went straight into the prep race. It was a first round buy-in. I said, figure if I lose, I could do some adjustments and go from there. But first race, I just finished the finals, and we rushed right into the prep race. So I didn't get to really fully charge the battery. So my first run, and the battery was not fully charged, it was a 204 at 76 miles an hour. So right there and then, I said to everybody, I'm coming for 19. because I feel with a fresh charged battery, not touching anything in the remote or the car, it should go faster. So that's what I did, and bam, ran a 199 at 75 miles an hour. Now, as I seen in the video, excuse me if I was acting ridiculous. I was just overexcited. So I apologize if I was acting a little bit outrageous. But I ran a 199 at 75, which pushed me into the next round. So I changed nothing. I just made sure I fully charged the battery. But mind you, in this 2 runs, I ran in the left lane. So now I came to the right lane, and I don't know if the ground cooled off quicker in the right lane. I don't know what it was. Could have been anything. But I go into race Chris now. So I run a 207. Change nothing. Chris run a 205. He takes the win. Now I go over to his table, and right off the rip, Dan said to me, anything can cause you to go slower. One being a little bit of spinning. And I said, maybe you're right. So when I did rewatch the video, I seen the car did not do exactly what it did when it ran that 1.9. And that can cause anything. Maybe I didn't let the prep flash enough or whatever it is. So that's just a learning lesson. Car ran great. I was definitely happy to run a 1.9. I'm noticing. So let me just tell y'all this. So when I ran prep in that last race on the tree at our race, our cash days, I was at a 207 or a 206. I couldn't get past the 206. Every time I tried, I went backwards. So now that I put the 5 degrees more in timing, the first run on prep that I ran with the 206, I went right back to that tune and ran a 204 without the fully charged battery. So I figured with the fully charged battery, I'll run the 1.9, and which it did. Also, in the right lane, I should have came down more because the car broke. But I feel like it wasn't for me making my prep flash. I was rushing and whatever the case may be. But that was my mistake. So for right now, I'm going to leave the car how it is. And we're just going to test. So y'all stay tuned for some test videos. And we'll see if what I got going on is working. And then we'll go from there. So anyway, let me get to the castle car and then stock car. And then we'll get to the RS4. Might be a long video, but we'll try to rush through it. All right, YouTube. So also, once again, shout out to Brandon. Make sure I get his name right, Murray. Because once he said that and I did it to the first car, the carbon car, I dropped the ESC down. I also had a plate here where this ESC was sitting more up. So I also dropped that more to the center of gravity. So I don't even think I tested this car. I just ran straight in the race. I just went to the same tune that I used to get to A to B, and the car did great. So the first run, this is with no timing. So let me say that. The castle car, I tried the no timing thing and it worked. Also tried a different gearing. Shout out to Josh because he did tell me to gear it to run with the no timing and it worked. For dry tire, remember this was on dry tire. So first run, 223 dry tire. Then the next run ran a 232. I touched nothing. Remember, I want to see how the car is going to react in the first 2 out of 3. And I see I dropped a 10th, almost a 10th off of not touching nothing. So the battery voltage went down. So now the 224 I ran. Now I turn the car up. It spins and it runs a 245 the next run. But it still gets me into the third round. So now I run a 228. I must have had left it turned up and forgot and ran a 228. Went slower than my first run, 223. So now I run next run, I run a 230. I believe I backed down and ran the 230 because the car spun. Sorry I don't have the tickets for the castle car. I just went back to the video and heard all the times. As I say, this wasn't my main focus at the time. I just entered it just so I can test it as the day goes on and figure things out. So I move into the 4th round with this car. First pass, it runs a 227. Now, I'm not even sure. I think I did touch something. I'm not sure what it was, but the next pass, it went a 228. So it was consistent, pushing me into the semifinals. And I believe I ran Carlos with this car. And the first pass was a 232. So remember, y'all, as I said with the other car, the temps changed. So now I'm noticing I'm spinning off the line more, which I should have compensated for by turning down. I didn't. So the car went slower. The second run I turned down and the car went quicker, 229. But still led Carlos to take the win. And that's when we went into the finals with the other car. So the car was consistent with no timing. As y'all can see, 2.2s all day. This run right here, I turned it up too much, broke traction. But 2.2s on dry tire. Now I know, since I was running already on dry tire with the other car, if I would have turned up and put this in the prep race, I'm sure it would have probably ran 2.1s, 2.0s consistently with no timing. Now, when we get to the castle video to show y'all about the ESC timing, I'm going to show y'all what I did different from just to say, just to say Josh, for instance. I don't know what Josh has it set to, but when I get to the castle video, I'll show y'all that. But anyway, the car ran good, was consistent, and this is a stock chassis car. So I'm sure if I put this motor in a lighter car, this car weighs like 6 pounds. And that's pretty much how it runs. So if I was to be able to lighten this car or put this motor in a lighter car, I'm sure that the car would do better with no timing. I would see 1.9s maybe, but my focus is to stay with this car in this motor. Also, I want to try my 2.5. Not sure if I want to try it in a carbon chassis or this chassis, because I noticed the other day that my rotor was blown and I didn't even catch it. So it was tapping the sensor board, wearing the sensor board out. So I end up fixing the problem and putting a 12.5 rotor in there. But I'll get to that towards the end, because I did put that motor in the Pro RS4 just to try it out. But I'm going to just run through the stock car real quick, and that's it. We'll get through the RS4 Pro and wrap the video up. All right, so problem with stock car is it is consistent, but the problem I'm having is I'm snapping dog bones, CVDs, whatever you want to call it. So I'm guessing it's the angle. See that angle? It's aiming down. So now when the car squats, it puts it like that. That's probably what's snapping it. So what I'm either gonna do is try to adjust my suspension, or I'm gonna look for a transmission riser to rise the transmission up and level it out with the dog bones. That should help. So I kept snapping it. Car was consistent in the stock class, but it got beat. I don't really focus on the stock car. It ran good, and I used the silvers. Also on the castle car, I used the gold voodoos, and I ran that on air. And also I ran my carbon car on reds on air. So the plan with the stock car is to fix this. I need to get a transmission riser. If y'all know anybody that got one on order and not back order, let me know. Definitely trying to fix this problem. I'm starting to snap too many shafts. I tried to put a cup on the inside to help. I mean a rubber on the inside. I'm gonna have to limit the shocks too as well, but it's still too far down. I still need to bring that transmission up. So we're gonna keep this car the stock car. It's performing good. I just next time I will either try golds or reds. I'll try silvers first run. The next run or the third run testing, I want to see if the golds or the reds perform better to give me more grip out off the line. Also, I want to try some of them tires that they have out. They have a lot of new tires out, and I want to try. The Voodoos have been working for me, but it doesn't hurt to try new things and see how it goes from there. I'll get this RS4 Pro up here. We'll talk about that real quick, and then we'll wrap this video up. Bam, there we go. So right now she's in the works. So I'm going to tell y'all what I did. So I put the 2.5 in here. I'm going to show y'all. This car is very light, and I know I can get it to go. The problem I'm having is it has, see this is 2.5. It's working. The problem I'm having is the diffs are plastic. So me trying to put 2S power in here is not working. Now the car was running. I had the car going straight, nice, everything on a soft tune. The minute I try to turn it up, bam, I snapped the, I'll actually show y'all. If anybody, if you're still watching, because I know this was a long video, you're still watching, if anybody knows where I can get parts for this car to upgrade it to metal, it comes with spool in the front and rear. I wish I could just get diffs. Anybody know a car that's similar? This is the rear diff spool, and it's locked front and rear. The front has like a clutch diff spool in it, so it will spin freely forward, but it will grab in the rear. But if I apply it to the center, it would grab. Hopefully I got that concept. But anyway, this the spur it came with. I'm gonna just show y'all real quick. This is spur it came with. Not sure what pinion that was, but it didn't work. So I made my own gear for it, which worked because I was running the 2.5. But this right here is plastic as well. This same piece right here is plastic. I'm looking for metal. If I have to run the spool, I would just like it in metal, steel, aluminum, whatever upgrades they have for this car. So if you know something about this car and I could get upgrades, please help me out. I'm definitely trying to make this my 2S car. My RS4, either this or if I can upgrade this or get diffs or make this run how I want with better diffs, I'm going to make this my prep car. I go to New York or whatever, I want to run in the big classes, I can pull this out. Or I got the other RS4, but that's mainly my dry tire car. But anyway, shout out to Tim once again and Dirty Den. Once I get this car figured out, I would definitely have it out there. So y'all stay tuned. And I'm hype I got this car. I got a lot of RS4. I probably have over 6 RS4s. But this is the first carbon chassis one. So I definitely want to make it work. Alright guys, y'all stay tuned. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. I want to give a shout out to my track tuner, Josh. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to Charlie, Benji, Tony. Shout out to everybody. I know I'm missing a lot of names. Shout out to everybody, man. I appreciate everybody that come out and support the events. Means a lot, truly does. Also, I want to shout out some YouTube channels. I want to shout out Power Mad Racing. Shout out to you, brother. You've been doing your thing. You definitely kept me motivated with the castle. I know you've been DRK, and I've seen you put back in the castle lately, but I've been sticking with it, and hopefully I get it figured out, and I can share share what I got going on. Also, Dorky and 40, shout out to you. Not sure if you watch the channel or not, but shout out to you. You got a lot of things going on in your channel, which is great. You also help the community, which I will be doing with the castle car. I'm going to just be an open book with that car as I tune it from now on to help out the community, because I see a lot of people come to my channel for that castle car. So we'll definitely do that. Shout out to Coach D, Amazing RC. Shout out to UDRC. And shout out to everybody. It's a lot of people. I'll be stuck on here all day. But shout out to everybody that comes to this channel and support. Definitely keeps me pushing to go out and test. And just trying to get faster. But we're going to keep the content coming, that's for sure. Thanks to everybody.